The text message arrived during my lunch break. Mom, cleaned out your old room, finally getting rid of all that junk you left behind. My sandwich went cold in my hand. Old room meant the spare bedroom I'd bunked in for 2 weeks while my apartment had emergency repairs. Junk felt like a verdict on my life. Me, what exactly did you throw away? Mom, just old stuff. Broken laptop. Some clothes. Random papers, nothing important. My stomach dropped. Me, which laptop? Mom, the black one that doesn't turn on. Relax. It was garbage. I lurched out of my chair so fast it rolled into the wall. 3 coworkers looked up. I forced a steady breath and kept my voice clipped. Everything okay, Sarah? Martinez called. Family emergency, I said. I need to make a call. Badge swinging. I strode to the secure communications room and swiped in. That broken laptop wasn't trash. It was locked behind a 15-character password and biometrics. It held 3 years of classified files for Operation Silent Wire, evidence on an international cybercrime network and records tied to $42 million in seized assets. And my mother had just sold it. I dialed her on my secure phone. She picked up on the 3rd ring, bright and oblivious. Sarah, we're just sitting down to Sunday dinner. Mom, where is the laptop? Oh, honey, I sold it this morning. A college kid gave me $500 cash. Can you believe it? $500 for a laptop that doesn't even work. My voice went flat, the interrogator tone I used on suspects slipping into place. What's the buyer's name? I don't know. He saw my Facebook Marketplace post and came right over. Why does it matter? It was just taking up space. You need to listen carefully. That laptop was federal property. You committed a felony. A nervous, incredulous laugh on the line. Sarah, don't be dramatic. It was in your room. I assumed. You assumed wrong. Don't touch anything else. Don't delete messages. Don't contact the buyer. Do you understand? Sarah Jane Mitchell, I don't appreciate your tone. I hung up and called Deputy Director Chen. He answered immediately. Mitchell, it's Sunday. This better? Sir, my classified laptop was sold by a family member about 2 hours ago. All case files for Operation Silent Wire were on it. 3 seconds of stunned silence. Jesus Christ. Give me the address. I'm activating emergency response. 15 minutes later I pulled into my parents' driveway. 4 unmarked federal vehicles were already positioned to seal exits. My mother stood on the porch clutching her phone. My father looked confused and angry. Derek and Amanda sat on the steps like intruders in someone else's catastrophe. Agent Rodriguez met me first. The area is secure. Your mother's been uncooperative. That's her default, I said. Where's Chen? Inside. We're tracing the Facebook Marketplace messages. My mother saw me and hurried down the steps. Sarah, what is going on? Why are there agents? I passed her, following Rodriguez into the house. My father grabbed my arm. Sarah, she made a simple mistake. No need for all this. She sold classified federal property to an unknown buyer. This isn't a mistake. I pulled away. That's theft under 18 USC. Section 641, 10 years max. Derek leapt up. Come on. Mom didn't know. You left it here. What was she supposed to think? She was supposed to ask. I said. You don't sell government evidence because you assume. Amanda covered her mouth. 10 years? Stop trying to scare everyone. My mother snapped, following me inside. It was just a laptop. Tell them it was a mistake and we'll get it back. I'll call the buyer. You will not contact the buyer, Deputy Director Chen said, appearing from the bedroom that used to be mine. He was compact, steel-haired, the kind of man who filled a room with quiet authority. Mrs. Mitchell, the laptop contains classified material for an ongoing federal investigation. The buyer's phone is already offline. He's either destroyed the device or knows what he has. My mother went white. Classified? Sarah's just, she works with computers. She's not. I'm a supervisory special agent. I interrupted. I've been with the FBI 6 years. That laptop held witness identities, undercover information, and 3 years of compiled evidence on an international theft ring. Derek sank back into his seat. Wait, you work for the FBI? Yes. I graduated Quantico 6 years ago. My mother gripped the porch railing. But you said you worked in IT. You said it was boring office work. That's operational security, I said. I don't advertise my work. Chen's voice was patient and cold. Mrs. Mitchell, whether you knew or not is irrelevant. You sold property that belonged to the federal government. The consequences could include compromised investigations, endangered agents, and further financial loss. But I didn't know, she wailed. Sarah, tell them I didn't know. Ignorance isn't a defense, I said. You saw a laptop. You sold it. You didn't ask. Rodriguez reappeared in the doorway. Sir, we have a location on the buyer. College student, Marcus Chin. No relation, Rodriguez said. Apartment complex on Jefferson Avenue. Tech teams en route. Chin nodded once. Take Mitchell with you. Then to my mother, Mrs. Mitchell. You'll need to come with me for formal questioning. Questioning? My father repeated, stepping forward. Now, hold on. My wife made an honest mistake. Surely this can be resolved without. Mr. Mitchell, Chen cut in, his voice level but sharp as glass. Your wife sold federal property containing classified information. This is not a negotiation. She'll be questioned. Whether charges follow depends on what we recover. As I moved to follow Rodriguez, Derek grabbed my arm. Sarah, you can't let them arrest Mom. Just tell them it was a misunderstanding. I looked at him for a long beat. Derek, the brother who dented my car and never paid me back. The one who borrowed money for his wedding, laughed at my boring computer job, and never once asked what I actually did. It's not a misunderstanding, I said quietly. It's theft of government property. Now let go. I have a laptop to recover. Marcus Chin lived on the third floor of a peeling apartment complex that smelled like instant noodles and burnout. Rodriguez and I stood outside his door, flanked by 3 agents. Movement rustled inside. Rodriguez knocked hard. FBI, open up. Silence. Mr. Chin, Rodriguez called. We know you purchased a laptop this morning from a Facebook Marketplace seller. We need to speak with you about that device. Open the door, now. 30 seconds. Then, the latch turned. A pale, thin young man blinked at us from the doorway. Early 20s. Sleep-deprived, eyes wide as saucers. I didn't do anything wrong, he blurted. May we come in? Rodriguez asked. He stepped aside. The apartment was a cramped cave of wires, monitors, and circuit boards, and there it was, my laptop, closed, plugged in, waiting. I pointed to it. Did you turn it on? He shook his head. I tried. It asked for a password, then a fingerprint. I was gonna wipe it, reinstall the OS, but I didn't get around to it. Relief hit so hard my knees almost buckled. You haven't accessed any files? I couldn't. The security's insane. Wait, who are you? I showed my badge. Supervisory Special Agent Sarah Mitchell. That's my laptop. You bought stolen federal property. I didn't steal anything. Some lady sold it to me. I've got the messages, see? He fumbled for his phone. Her name flashed across the screen. My mother's smiling Facebook profile picture stared back at me from his messages. She said it was broken. Marcus said quickly. Said her daughter didn't want it anymore. I gave her $500 for parts. I didn't know it was stolen, I swear. Rodriguez approached the desk, powering the device on. The FBI splash screen appeared, then the login prompt. He looked at me. Mitchell? I typed my password, pressed my thumb to the sensor. The lock screen faded. The desktop came alive. Every encrypted file, every document, untouched. Thank God, I breathed. Rodriguez exhaled. Mr. Chin, you're not being charged. You bought the laptop in good faith, but we'll need a statement. Am I in trouble? No, Rodriguez said, but the woman who sold it to you is. 2 hours later, we returned to my parents' street, now a scene from a true crime special. Unmarked federal vehicles lined the curb. Neighbors watched from lawns, recording on their phones. Mrs. Patterson, ever the neighborhood sentinel, folded her arms like she'd been waiting her whole life for this. My mother sat in the back of an unmarked car, face blotchy from tears. My father argued with an agent. Derek and Amanda sat on the porch, stunned into silence. I walked straight past them, laptop sealed in an evidence bag, and found Chen reviewing paperwork on the hood of his car. Laptop secure, sir, I said. No files accessed. Encryption intact. He nodded. Good work, Mitchell. His gaze flicked toward my mother. We need to decide about charges. Your recommendation? I hesitated. Technically, she violated federal law, but proving intent would be difficult. She didn't know what was on it. Chen exhaled through his nose. Even so, she sold property that wasn't hers. Classified property. That's reckless endangerment of federal operations at minimum. My father approached. Agent Chen, please. My wife didn't mean any harm. I met his eyes. Dad, if I'd left that laptop in a coffee shop and it was stolen, I'd be fired. If I'd transferred files to an unsecured drive, I'd be facing prosecution. The only reason this isn't a total disaster is because we recovered it fast. But she's your mother. Exactly, I said, which is why I'm not deciding. Chen will. Chen closed the file. Mrs. Mitchell will be released tonight with a formal warning. The incident stays on record. If she ever applies for clearance or a government position, this will appear. She'll pay a $5,000 fine and complete a federal property awareness course. Derek shot up. $5,000? For selling a broken laptop? For selling classified federal property, Chin corrected. She's lucky. If Agent Mitchell weren't her daughter, she'd be in custody right now. 2 agents helped my mother from the car. Her mascara streaked, her voice shaking. Sarah, please, tell them this is a mistake. Tell them you forgive me. I can't. Mom. Why not? I'm your mother. You sold my property without asking. You made assumptions about my life, my work, everything. You've done that my whole life. I was trying to help. No, I said softly. You were trying to control. My father's voice trembled. Sarah, she made a mistake. Show some compassion. I looked between them. Compassion is exactly what this is. If this went to trial, I'd testify for her. That's compassion. If charges were filed, I'd vouch for her. That's compassion. But actions have consequences. The fine stands. Frankly, it's less than she made selling it. Derek stepped forward. We're family. Family helps each other. Family respects boundaries, I said. Family doesn't sell what isn't theirs. We didn't know you worked for the FBI, my mother whispered. I couldn't tell you, I said. Operational security. The work I do is confidential, dangerous. It demands silence. And instead of respecting that, you assumed I was just some IT tech with nothing important to hide. Her face crumpled. I never thought you were nobody. You didn't have to say it, I said. You showed it. Every time you introduced me as the one who works with computers. Every time you bragged about Derek's sales numbers but changed the subject when I mentioned my job. That's not fair, Derek muttered. It's the truth, I said. You never asked who I really was. Chin cleared his throat. Mitchell, we're taking the laptop to the field office. You coming? Yes, sir. I turned toward the cars. Sarah, my mother called. When will we see you again? I paused. I don't know, Mom. I need time to think about boundaries and respect and what family actually means. You can't just walk away. I'm not, I said. I'm protecting myself. 3 days later. In Chen's office, the report sat on his desk, signed, sealed, the laptop, uncompromised, Operation Silent Wire, intact. Chen looked up. Mitchell, you handled that with remarkable professionalism, considering. I nodded. Thank you, sir. He smiled faintly. You just saved 3 years of work, and probably your mother's freedom. I allowed myself the smallest breath of relief. Yes, sir, I know. The next morning, Deputy Director Chin called me into his office. How are things with your family? He asked. I thought of the 17 missed calls from my mother, the 12 texts from Derek, the email from my father asking me to be reasonable. I hadn't replied to any of them. Complicated, I said finally. They understand now what you do? They understand I work for the FBI. They just don't understand what that means. Chin nodded slowly. Operational security exists for a reason, but I imagine it's hard when it costs you trust at home. The secrets aren't the hard part, I said quietly. It's being treated like they prove I'm unimportant. My mother sold my laptop because she thought it was worthless. That's what hurts. For what it's worth, Agent Mitchell, he said, leaning back. Your work has protected millions of dollars and hundreds of people. You're one of the best analysts I've ever supervised. If your family can't see that, it's their loss, not yours. Thank you, sir. He handed me a new laptop, this one heavier. Encrypted. Impossible to break into. Try not to leave this one at your parents' house. I smiled faintly. I'll keep it handcuffed to my wrist. That Sunday, I didn't go to family dinner. Instead, I stayed late in the office, combing through reports for Operation Silent Wire. My phone buzzed constantly, Mom, Derek, Dad, even Aunt Carol, but I ignored them all. Around 8 p.m., Martinez knocked on my door. You're still here? Just finishing up. You know most people spend Sunday with their families. Most people's families don't sell their classified laptops on Facebook Marketplace. He winced. Yeah, I heard. That must have been brutal. Educational, I said. I learned that $500 means more to my mother than respect. I learned my family still sees me as the kid sister, not a federal agent. I learned 6 years at the bureau means less to them than Derek's sales job. Families are complicated, he said softly. No, I replied. Families are supposed to be respectful. That part's not complicated. 2 weeks later, my mother called after paying her $5,000 fine. She was crying. Sarah, I paid it. The fine's done. Can we please talk? What do you want to talk about? I want to apologize. I want my daughter back. I sat in my car outside the field office, watching agents come and go. Mom, I'm not the daughter you think I am. I never was. What does that mean? It means you've spent years assuming who I am instead of asking. That's not fair. I've always supported you. No, I said. You've always had opinions about me. That's not support. There was a long silence. Then, when did you become so cold? I'm not cold, I said. I'm clear. Please, come to dinner this Sunday. Let's talk properly. Let's fix this. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. Sunday came. I drove to my parents' house with my stomach in knots. My new laptop stayed locked in the field office safe. My phone stayed in the car. I walked up to the house with nothing but my badge, my keys, and a recording device in my pocket, force of habit. Mom opened the door before I could knock. Her smile trembled. Sarah, you came. I said I'd think about it. Come in, everyone's here. Derek and Amanda sat at the table, looking guilty. Dad stood by the fireplace, stiff and uncomfortable. The good china was out, reserved for holidays and Derek's important dinners. I took my usual seat, back to the wall, both exits in view. Dad started. Sarah, we want to apologize. For selling my laptop? For not taking your work seriously, he said. For treating you like a child instead of a professional. I said nothing. Derek cleared his throat. I looked up what FBI cybercrime agents do. That stuff's serious, dangerous. We had no idea. You had no idea because you never asked. You never told us, he argued. I couldn't. Operational security. The less you knew, the safer you were. But instead of trusting that, you assumed I was being secretive for no reason. Mom's voice broke. We never thought that. Then why did you sell my laptop without asking? Why did you laugh about getting $500 for it? She had no answer. I stood. Here's what's going to happen. You'll listen, or I walk out and you won't see me again. Four heads nodded. First, my work isn't up for discussion. Second, my property is off limits. Third, when I say I'm busy, it's because I'm protecting people. Respect that. I looked at each of them. Can you do that? Dad nodded. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We can. And we're sorry. Sarah, truly. Yes, I said quietly. You should have trusted me. Dinner was awkward but civil. For once, nobody made jokes about my computer job. When I stood to leave, Mom hugged me. Will you come back next week? Maybe, I said, if I don't have a case emergency. She smiled weakly. Your work comes first. It was the first time she'd ever said that, and meant it. 3 months later, Operation Silent Wire concluded. 17 arrests, $42 million seized. National news. The next morning, Mom called. Sarah, That case on TV, was that yours? I can't discuss active investigations. But it's over. I smiled. Yes, that was my case. 3 years, she whispered. You worked on that for 3 years, and I almost ruined it. But you didn't, I said gently. We got the laptop back. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I know, Mom. Family dinners became monthly instead of weekly. I came when I could, left when I had to. No one questioned it. No one mocked my job. No one touched my things. They didn't fully understand my work, and they never would. But they respected it. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.